Hey, what's up? It's Mr. Young.
And it's foreign in the building.
In a very special building, because first of all, look who we have with us.
Woo.
It's Greg, Endboss Greg, that is here at the brand new GrappleMAX Pro Wrestling Studios. Okay, we will get to all this in just a little while.
Yes.
But it's been a while since you've been on the show.
It has, How long has it been?
Bro, at least a good year and a half. A year and a half, I probably think. Right after the pandemic, I think when... yeah, bro, probably when... Remember, I have this very vague memory of us talking about Dick Togo when he returned to New Japan. But it can't be that long. It can't be that long.
Yeah, I always appear on these shows when something big happens in wrestling. Hey, let's bring Greg on the show and talk about wrestling.
Well, something big has definitely happened in wrestling here in Singapore, especially. I mean, you guys have your own place.
Yeah, man. I mean, I wish we could kind of turn the camera around and show you guys, but we'll probably cut some
We'll do a tour in just a bit, put some cutaway footage. So while we are talking about it, through the magic of editing, you can actually see what we are talking about.
Nice.
But okay, first of all, Greg, tell us about this space that you got here. I mean, you guys went from Juchet. We remember the days, the humble beginnings in Juchet, right? Yeah. Remember the straight out of Juchet shirt?
Oh yeah, man, those were classics.
Do you still have those, by the way?
We do. You want? Still want more?
Yeah.
Friend pricing.
You know what those kind of are to me? It's like Austin 316 shirt.
It's
like
collectible.
Don't you think so?
Yeah, I think so. People were asking about it at our last house party. Because last month they were saying, these are the Juchet shirt.
Yeah.
People want to have that as a collectible part of the history. Right? So I think that's what you mean by that.
Yeah, it's that vibe of, oh man, I was there when it first started.
Yeah.
And then of course you guys moved to Gymcraft. Yeah. And then now, okay, we are here in the heart of Ubi, I suppose you could call it. Maybe take us through the journey and the process. You know what, let's start from Juchet, from the humble beginnings.
Okay, but there's one chapter before that which maybe we've left out.
Okay.
So actually, before Juchet, we were already in another gym.
Oh, right.
So we were based in Victory Center in Aljunied. So before that, we were already running wrestling shows.
Right.
This was like 2016?
This was like 2016, yeah.
Okay.
So our first event was 1st April 2017. No April Fool's joke. So that was the very first event where you see it was Wildfire Ramos against Dick Togo in the main event.
Wow.
So that was in Aljunied.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were there for, I think it was about a year, just under a year or so. And then we moved to Juchet because there was a very big space available for us.
Yes.
I think this is where you guys began to be aware of what we were doing, right? So Juchet, we were there for, I think it was about just under maybe 2.5 years.
Right.
So I think there is where it sort of built what a GrappleMAX show was really about. Right? Aljunied was very much, let's start running and showing we can run wrestling, wrestling workshops, wrestling training, and also running small scale shows. But I think the real GrappleMAX identity only came in from Juchet. Because what are these guys doing? What is this crazy wrestling?
Yeah, ringless ropes,
I think that was quite a unique selling point in those days, right?
Yeah.
The fact that you guys were doing wrestling but on the mat with no ropes. How would you guys do the Irish whip stuff? You guys found ways.
We found ways.
Yeah, very interesting crowd interaction-centric ways, huh?
Yeah. And I think that sort of grew a very specific sort of subculture of people who were coming specifically to see what is this GrappleMAX style of pro wrestling. So along the way, then I think the one thing we were obviously missing was the ring, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was a benefit to a point in terms of being quite differentiated from the rest. I think what was missing was obviously when people want to do more traditional wrestling, we couldn't provide that.
I see.
Right? It's very expensive and there was no space for it. So then we came across this company called Gymcraft, which is where I guess the more recent audience knows us from. So Willie, who is the boss of Gymcraft, is a good friend of ours. So he in fact came to us and said, hey, what do you guys need? Because I love wrestling. How can I help you guys grow the business?
Right.
So we're like, okay, what do we need? How about a ring?
We need space.
And he went, oh, how much? I said, something $1,000. Right?
Yeah.
More than 10, okay? And he went, you know what? Yeah, I'll sponsor you guys the ring. Take the ring, okay? But can you guys think about maybe moving to a place like what we have, right? And the timing makes sense because we were getting like sold out classes, every single day in Juchet, right? Every day full house. We were running 10 workshops a week. It was crazy, right? But missing that one element of the next level, right? You want to do ring shows? How do we do ring shows? So we moved to Gymcraft at the right time, or what we thought was the right time.
The timing of that, right?
So
Cue ominous music in the background.
everybody feels this one, right? So we moved to Gymcraft, very excited in January 2020. So people begin to think about, what's 2020? What happened 2020?
Yeah.
So we moved, we're very excited because, first time, because we moved in Joo we were in an outdoor space.
Correct.
So we were training in a tentage, under a tentage.
yeah.
Great place for us for culture, but just it was what it was.
Yeah.
It was an outdoor space.
Sure.
So Gymcraft was covered, got fans, got bathroom facilities. And we thought, wow, super excited. Right, we moved. Then next month, it's COVID.
I think we were there for that pre-COVID show.
The last show, yeah.
COVID had already kind of started, and then we were like, okay, this show has to go down. If not, nothing's gonna happen.
And I recall Nanjuan, he kind of created that graphic, right, about your entire rollout of shows in 2020.
The Avengers theme.
Yeah, we were so excited for that timeline as well. Yeah.
So imagine the team, right? So then I think we got you guys involved. We put together the Fighting Spirit show. But I think the key thing is timing was tricky for us. And I think after we all bounced back from Circuit Breaker, it was a lot of rebuilding, both in terms of the membership, but also in terms of people who were willing to watch wrestling shows. I think we were the first to begin running these big scale events in Gymcraft. So it was very helpful for us, particularly because of the way we had a rental discussion with Gymcraft. I would, again, we are completely, in gratitude to them because they kept us going through COVID. Right? Any other more traditional rental structure, we would have died. We would have gotten through the first 6 months of COVID.
It's interesting because during the era as well, I realized you guys had like this influx of new talent, new guys and gals who we had not seen before during the old Juche era, right? Like people like your Jordans, like your Sean and the Aussie.
Did you kind of like figure out how they discovered you during this period when there was really not much wrestling?
Was it a word of mouth thing? Or?
Yeah, it's a lot of word of mouth. A lot of just Googling pro wrestling. And I think one thing we did quite well was we made it very easy to understand, like when you join us, what does it feel like, right? How do you join us?
Yeah, very accessible.
What can you deliver, or what can we deliver to you 6 months from now, right? So I think we've never dropped that goal of the wrestler is the customer.
Yes.
Right? Not, you don't owe us, right? We owe you because you are paying us to provide this community to you. So how do we build that?
I think your SEO search keywords are quite good. Search wrestling, your stuff will appear. Yeah.
Search engine optimization.
Marketing.
SEO is such a long path to do. Still working on it now, so we're getting there.
Cool.
Yeah, so then I guess we fast forward through Gymcraft. Right? So we ran quite a few shows. So we began running shows in that Gymcraft hall. Then I think the last thing we did before moving, before house party last month, was Settle Outside.
Yes.
Big scale event. I think Young, you were there. Fun couldn't make it.
Yes.
Big scale event for us. I think, and that really came from a lot of feedback, because we were already thinking to ourselves, okay, what's missing, right? And I spoke to the co-founders, Dennis and also Peter, who's also one of our shareholders, and we were saying, okay, look, guys, is this it? Right? Is this where we want to go? Right? We spoke to our members, and they said, yeah, if this is it, then in Chinese, it's like that, right?
Oh, like
It's like you hit that ceiling and then can't go any higher.
Yeah, so we did think to ourselves, like, maybe this is good enough, right? Maybe we've gone this far, we've shown 3 different levels of growth, right? From Victory Center to Juchet to Gymcraft. Maybe it's good enough. But the guys began to say, okay, but like, what else can we do to really push this? We want to perform more. We want to do more promos, more content creation. So we went back to the team, and I sat with Dennis and Pete in the bar, and we were like, hey, actually, do we want to push this further? Right? If this was 2016, right, what was that mindset back then? Right? Anything fucking goes. How can we do this again? So we sat down and said, okay, how much do we want to put into this to say we need this as a next step? And I think the vision we felt was aligned, which I'll talk about more maybe after this. But we found we had a shared vision of this, and we said, you know what, let's raise a bit more money for this.
Okay.
And how much can we commit in terms of time and energy? So what I did was I actually quit my job. Right. So I've been running startups, sales and marketing roles for the last 7 years. Right. And the timing was quite perfect because I was getting quite frustrated, honestly.
Okay.
Because it always felt like there was this GrappleMAX on the side, right? But it's always but I need to work on this project for someone else. So I began asking a lot of entrepreneurs, people who are much smarter than me in business, right? And they keep going, bro, like, why are you've got all this experience in startups. Why are you wasting your time not wasting time, sorry to my past employers. But why are you spending time, helping other entrepreneurs grow their dreams when you have a running business that is a startup, right? Like it's not some idea you wrote on a napkin yesterday, you went to wrestling school. It's not, right? You are running, you have people who come on a daily basis, you have fans who love what you're doing. If you can survive financially, why not give it one good run, one good push?
And that's a very good mindset to have as well in this sort of day and age also. Because like you said, right, like you're working for the man, and you're helping to fulfill somebody else's dream. Bro, you hit something in me. At that moment when you said that, I was like,
this is out there too.
Maybe it's time for me to venture out on my own.
Bro, you have also the experience. You have all the It's the same. It's the same. But I think the thing that is very, very brave and that we respect is that you kind of like went all in, right? Essentially, that's what it is.
Pun intended.
Pun intended.
So was it a long process of talking about it with your loved ones and stuff like that? Because it is a big step, right? Going from like a salaried sort of like, every month you know where your money is coming from versus something that's slightly a little bit more risky, like all entrepreneurs go through.
Yeah. I mean, it's a scary process for everyone involved, right? Because the first thing you expect when you go into a startup is you're going to be earning a lot of money, if at all, right? Even now, I'm drawing zero from this, apart from like a few of the workshop fees. Otherwise, it's practically zero from this whole endeavor, right? But I think it was a clear sense of, you want to achieve something in your life, right? You got to commit. Without sounding too cheesy, really go all in, right? And I've done this whole process of trying to balance three things for the last 7 years, and it always goes back to but I really want to grow this. And it was also again the guys and girls in GrappleMAX who are if you did this, we will support you. We would make it happen. We would help where you need. So I think it really is down to the community we're building. And if we hadn't gotten this far, I wouldn't have had that drive to make it happen.
Right.
Yeah. We've had meetings with the team when we sat down just about a year ago, and we were literally like, should we just shut down?
Right.
What's the point? Right? If this is it, how long more can we go doing this? And it was then we thought about, okay, but all the guys and girls who've been training for so long, all the characters we built, and they want to be a part of this, right? So that was sort of where we had this whole idea of, okay, let's give it one last really good push to make this work. So then we began thinking to ourselves, going back to why this place now, right? It really was back to, okay, we think there is a gap in what the local industry is doing for wrestling. Right? It's always about where can we help to fill the gap and move this forward. Okay. So you think about like wrestling shows for the last 7, even 10 years, right? It's always been two types of locations, right? It's been your big arenas for say 300, 400 people, right? Or the promotions do what they can inside, where whatever spaces they have, right? Maybe 15, 20 people at best, right? And it looks like a training center. What we felt was that there is a place missing that allows promotions to create content and run events, tapings, workshops on a regular basis that looks great on camera, that can house enough people to look like a proper running show. So that was what we thought we could maybe come and help to run.
Sure. Just a quick thought on that, right? Do you foresee, like when you were having the bar conversation per se, right? Like when you say it's the next step, meaning like this content creation, this idea was always gonna be the next goal in all of this, or was it more of like it was a discovery along the way while running your shows?
Yeah. So, I think to be realistic, I want to say that we planned it all along, but that's never the case, right? So, I think what we have always been is, I think what is the ethos, I guess, the culture of GrappleMAX has always been, we make do with what we have, right? How do we convert this space into a wrestling show? How do we do a wrestling show in a Muay Thai gym? How do we make a show that works for Singapore Night Festival? That's always been our goal. Whereas I think with this place, we found that we look back at the last 7 years, right? And we were always thinking of let's compete with the fitness gyms. Let's compete with your Evolves. Let's compete with your boxing gyms, your lifestyle. Even compete with spinning, yoga, right? I'm sure you're going to join us. All the spinners are going to come and do wrestling, right? And we tried for a long time. But you look at the people who are with us for a long time, right? And our guys stay for forever. They stay for 5, 6, 7 years. Since day one, they're still around. And all the people who stay with us long term, right? They don't join because they want to get fit. They join because they want to become pro wrestlers. And what's missing was a place to create more of what they want to create, right? Good matches, promos, stuff like that, right? Create things like this for other creators to create as well. So there definitely was a pivot. It definitely wasn't a case of this was always the plan. But I think we learned over the last 7 years, right? This is what people want from us. And we have the team to deliver on this. On this now.
Circling back, right? Sorry, to your previous time at Gymcraft, right? I was just thinking, like, what was the best takeaway from your time in Gymcraft? Like your most memorable experience there, and what you want to take from that experience to this new kind of venture, like, in a way.
I think one good thing about Gymcraft was that it really put us in a place where we were sharing with a lot of different but related activities. Right? So we learned a lot in terms of how do we really move around this space. Two things, right? How do we utilize this space to really run a pay-per-view looking kind of wrestling show? What we cannot do. We also learned about how do we interact and how do we work with other types of activities as well.
Right.
Because there, Gymcraft, they have multiple activities going on. Right. They have aerial, they have aerial yoga, they have like a trampoline team is there. So we learn how to work with them in terms of using the same space together. But also, I think what we did also learn was that there are some things we simply cannot do here.
Right.
And in fact, that was the trigger. I think it's a good question because the trigger was we realized that no matter how much we tried, we couldn't convert this place into a pay-per-view space.
Right.
We tried. So we looked around and said, okay, look, if we install all these lights, right, and we raise 4K to install lights, what happens is you blow the whole building. Because it's an old ITE hall.
Okay.
So we couldn't.
I see. So there was limitations in
every time we
building.
asked the audience, would you come back for a show every month?
Yeah.
We would. But two things. You're too far away in Tampines West. And you just don't look like a wrestling show.
Right.
So that's true, right? That's true. We knew it ourselves. We were running wrestling shows in a school hall. So we tried. Lighting cannot do. Right? So we asked around. We said, can we put those Pasar Malam orange color generator? Can. Generator alone, $3,000.
Each time?
Euros. Each time.
Wow.
And you must apply for permit to put it there.
Right.
So you don't disturb the neighbors. Every show, your lighting 3K, your generator 3K.
Now you know,
Expenses, bro.
So for us, it was like, we can't keep doing this if the goal
Not
is
sustainable,
this is not the end.
Right.
So that's why we ran Settle Outside. So I think back to the first point, which is that was really meant to show, hey, like the fans love us for a few things. They love the characters. They love that we focus very heavily on local talent, developing main events featuring all local guys. They love that. They love the long-term storylines. But they don't like the environment. Right? So that was the limitation. Right? So we said, okay, let's take the same guys, same storytelling, same angles, but put it into a proper performance studio and see the response.
Purpose-built location, which
Correct.
I mean, I guess a lot of parallels can be drawn to, like, if you think about the WWE's Performance Center, where they literally have a space where they train, they put on shows, they train promos, they film promos, they film vignettes, stuff like that.
Exactly.
So was that the idea?
That was the idea, right? But I think Settle Outside was key for us because it showed that we could do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because before this, again, like I said, we were always like, let's make do with what we have. Right? Let's work around this, let's get volunteers, blah, 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 right? But okay, what if we wanted to run a full-scale professional ticketed event in an actual recording studio, right? And that was crazy. We sold out in 2 days, the premium seats, right? Faster than any other show we've done before.
Yeah.
Same content, again, same angles, same characters.
For content, for context, the Settle Outside show was Sunday Ring. Sorry. For context, the Settle Outside show was in like a TV studio style place where you had the LED boards at the back. Everything looked very spectacular, very fun.
We had a Titantron.
You had Titantron.
Our fans were like, wow, whip that. What's going on? Suddenly from school hall to what is this? WWE Raw, what's going on?
Yeah, but based on that, right, you didn't really marketed it and showcase it.
We didn't want to.
Yeah, so
which is great because when people went, the expectation was like, whoa, we didn't expect this.
It's all by intent. This was planned.
No,
we didn't want to market because we didn't want the number one overpromise.
Correct.
We were seeing, could we do it? If we say, wow, come and see GrappleMAX, we're now WWE. Sure die.
You cannot raise expectations
So we
too
were
high.
the other way, right? We're just running a regular show, but location better. Because we were testing, this is Startup 101, we were just testing location.
Right.
the venue we were testing in terms of people who already came. Then we asked them, right, would you come for more of this compared to what you saw before?
Right.
And the response was crazy. Super high response. People, oh, we love it, we'll come every week, but we will pay as much as we pay for this.
I remember you were mind blown, right?
Yeah, that Wednesday probably you couldn't make it, right?
Yes,
So I was
yes.
like, bro, look at this.
Yeah. I know. Our leader was mind blown because I started seeing all the social media, posts, reposts come filtering through,
Yeah.
and I was like, wait, what's going on?
There's a Titantron. There's videos in the back.
And you want to create that sense of, bro, you missed something out, man. Right? So we have a perfect example here, right?
Yeah.
The one who went, the one who
Yes,
FOMO, I suppose.
it's true. I mean, I wouldn't mind admitting it, but the funny thing was, right, the way you hook the audience to even go to the show was like, a no location or like
Correct.
go and see,
Go and set outside lah.
Yeah. So I really like that. So, but was that kind of like the response that you got from that kind of made you feel like, okay, this is definitely there's a potential there. Let's put all our chips in the same
So
basket.
to me, that event was very much it was skills development, right? It sounds very startup, right?
SEO lah, skills department lah.
Right? So like, no, but for us it was. Because we do an event of that scale, right? And again, it's new to us, right? To bring together your mixers, your Tron videos, your lighting, your cues, your entire cue sheet is different from what we were doing. I'm sure you know better than me for sure, you guys, right? But for us, it was new, right? So the idea was, okay, let's do one event. And if we screw this up so bad, maybe we'll just stay in Jim forever, right?
Wait, quick question. Who was actually running the sound stage and all the cue sheets behind the scenes?
Well, it was a lot of us. I think Sarah Kohut.
Oh, okay.
So she helped a lot because she has a background in production. So she was helping us with planning the lighting cues, working with the engineers to make it happen.
Oh, that's pretty dope. Okay.
My role sort of just becomes these days just sort of oversee everything and make sure we don't drop the balls. Right, so Sarah, Dominic has a big background in theatre production. So Dominic, Mr. D, I guess. So he's got a big background.
Oh, congrats to him, by the way. Just
yes,
right?
that's right.
Congrats, bro.
So he helped out a lot in terms of preparation. And again, just running it, on the day itself, everyone sort of came up and said, okay, there's a gap here. Oh, we can't hear what's happening inside because it's soundproof. Okay, we need a runner there. So it really was not just Sarah and Dom, but like I think the two of them brought their expertise. But again, this is where the community was, okay, hey, let's help out. Right? We need space, we need people here, we need someone there.
Didn't Dom wrestle that night as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Double duty, bro.
Everybody is right. Everybody runs around. I think that.
And no, I think I just wanted to add on to that fact. I really like how, all these wrestling fans, all these wrestlers are bringing their expertise in other professions and contributing to the community of pro wrestling in a way, right?
Yeah, and I think so. Again, Settle Outside was two things, right? It was showing people that we know what we're doing, right? We have the storylines, we have the performers, but we just need a cool space, right? And the success of that proved to the team that actually we are limiting ourselves by staying here. That's the first part, right? Second thing was what you said, which is community. Right? And a lot of it was, okay, if we make this huge step to a space like this, right? What happens is straight away we all know Singaporeans, rental will kill us, right? I can tell you upfront, we are not covering rental yet. We are still earning less in rental, right? But we have a growth trajectory we plan, right? So there is a risk involved. We have a runway here we have to try and meet. But if we didn't have the team come out to convince, not me, but convince ourselves that we could do this, we wouldn't have moved. Right? Because we move here, we raise a lot of money, move here, and we die in 3 months.
Right. And to that point also, I think that what you have here, especially just knowing who kind of does what as well. You got Remus over there, doing like the editing stuff, right? You got Sean Rick, who's a DJ who knows like the microphones and how to set up a podcast, a broadcasting situation as well, so on and so forth. Like, it's great to have sort of that support, right?
Yeah.
So to know that, okay, we can do the multifaceted approach as opposed to just doing the show.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that is, again, skills transfer, right? It's people who are, number one, not selfish, to help us. Again, no one gets paid. Right? At most, we pay very small honorariums for performing, but we're so early in the process that no one's getting paid, which is, again, a long-term goal for us.
Literally, we're doing this out of passion for pro wrestling and for GrappleMAX.
Yeah, exactly, right? And I think this is sort of giving back to them, saying, okay, look, all that work for the last 7 years, right, has given us the opportunity, I guess, to run a project like this, right? And this is a space where we don't just want to use your skill set, right? So it's not just, Charlie, you MC, you be MC forever, right? Sufyan, you referee forever, right? Remus, you produce forever, right? Najwan, you shoot photos forever. That's not the goal, right? We want these guys to begin to train the next generation, right? So we're looking at things like photography workshops from Najwan, right?
How to shoot pro wrestling
And
matches.
you'd be surprised, it's so hard to find, right? Because the other guys know too, it's so hard to find good action photographers for what we do. Right? It's relatively low light, it's fast action, it's hard to catch. Right? Naj is one of those with a very specific skill set that suits what we need. And also the angles, right? You need to know the wrestlers, what are the finishing moves, what's the way you're gonna face. These things you need someone who understands it.
Correct.
Right? And if you can't get that, you got to train them. So we are focusing now on what's the next generation, or the next generation, right? Who can shoot, who can produce, right? Shorik is running MC training, commentating training. We were running commentary last week. He was the one coaching the other guys. How do you commentate? How do you throw your voice? How do you pace? Right? I also want to learn. How do you do these things? Right?
Pretty dope, yeah.
It's not easy. So we're trying to see where can we bring in different creators, people with experience in creating content, to help to share it using pro wrestling as the shared medium.
The glue that holds everything. Do you think this was more of serendipity, or was it like, hey, we need somebody to fill this role, let's go and look for somebody in that way? Or was it always a case of, hey, actually, this fella is good at this, let's have him help us out there?
It's a bit of both, right? So we, like people like Sarah, we didn't come across her until maybe a few years ago. Right. So we knew of her, but she never joined us as a member of the community. So that was definitely sort of happened organically. But I think it's also the nature of what we're doing, right? And people see GrappleMAX and it's like, okay, it's not just for, it's always been our first position. It's not just for people who want to become, pro wrestlers, stereotypical pro wrestlers, right? It is a place where I could potentially use my skill set to apply it, whether it is in front of the camera, behind the camera, or a mix of both, right? I think that attracted a lot more people, which gave us that ability to draw on the skill set from the right people at the right time. Right. So that's the angle for us. And I think going back to this place, right, why we changed from pro wrestling to pro wrestling studios, right? It's because we're focusing very heavily on this is a creative space for all creators involved in wrestling. Right? I think before this it was always, join us because you want to learn wrestling, you want to become a wrestler or whatever it is. It's still there, but we see that being one part of the overall picture. Because we've been approached in the past, right? We've been approached by artists, by creators, musicians. We're currently talking with a music promoter, discussing a festival along those lines as well. Spoilers, Oops. It's okay, never mind, right?
Will it be okay next week when we pull it out?
I think I'll keep it vague enough, but we're talking to a lot of different people who love pro wrestling, right? But they want to get involved, but not by taking bumps and doing that kind of stuff, right? But they want to create, right? And we've done it before, right? Like the crazy guys at the Singlet Station, the Poetry Collective, right? We did 2 years back to back. Sold out Aliwa Art Center. Poetry Wrestling Slam. And again, if we only had a place back then to facilitate these discussions.
I really hope you guys are bringing that back, man. I think that's a great collab, by the way.
You're not the first to ask. Joshua, if you're listening,
yes.
work on this again.
Okay.
Cool. The only downside is 6 months of prep required.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. For
full-on thing.
I understand.
So we're looking at doing that in a smarter way. So we are exploring it. So Josh is one of my old friends from a long time ago. So we're always discussing what we can do. But besides that, right? So again, we work with both local and regional artists. We're working on a lot of different things outside of pro wrestling shows as well. And again, all we needed really was a space to make those conversations happen.
A quick question, right? You talk about doing the making all the magic happen within this space, right? I'm just curious, taking a look at it from another perspective. So, because we really briefly brought up about the Singlet Poetry, what about outreach? Like, what's your plans for this year now that you have this as like the home base, the mothership, right? How are you gonna go out and do like a Singapore Night Festival and kind of feed it back into this, or how are you gonna make a splash outside to get people who might not even know this exists?
Yeah, I think it's all connected, right? We don't intend to now exclusively run all our events and our tapings in this space.
I see.
Right. I think this space is always meant to be. It's not necessarily a full change in the model. It's a place where we can begin to create a lot more of what we were doing before, but better. Right. So we still plan to run shows outside for sure. Right. We don't have a lot of ceiling height here, although we had our first not atomic, but centon bomb happened just a few days ago.
Right.
So we did it here.
Oh yeah, I just realized if a 7 foot tall guy or like a 1.9
Where
meter
you
guy
find a 7 foot tall guy in Singapore?
bro, yeah, I just realized.
Anyone out there come and
Can they
find us?
touch?
Yeah, how you gonna do a top rope move given
We'll work around,
the
right? So I
ceiling?
think going back to GrappleMAX being we work with what we have, right? So
Yeah.
we haven't lost that spirit, right? We work around what we have.
Okay, cool.
We did think about pros and cons, right? And
Yeah.
in the end, it's like again, in Singapore, it's so hard to find a space that lets you do what we're doing. Correct. You need high ceiling now. You need big space. You need neighbors who don't complain about bumping.
Yeah, that's true.
Things, right? So okay, then versus all that versus then so and so cannot do a top rope superplex. What's the trade-off?
Yeah.
So it's okay, right? I think in the end, the trade-off is you can do so much more content. And this is going back to your question, which is we will still run shows ourselves.
Yeah, okay.
Right? That's the goal is still there, right? But this is to build that capability,
Yep.
right? Because the more we do here, right, the more expertise we have,
Yes.
the more we can attract people who have those skill sets, who can then run even better shows.
Yes,
outside.
I
So
see.
it's all connected. In terms of collaborations, again, we are hosting a lot more collaborations in the coming years. I think with Jim Craft, we actually dropped off a lot in terms of weird collaborations.
I see.
I think because again, we were always asking ourselves like, okay,
I see.
let's just focus on doing shows here first.
Correct.
Then when we settle here, we can begin thinking about other stuff. But we do want to bring back those discussions again.
Do you feel that because you are affiliated with this other company, then it kind of limits the things that you can do? Because you kind of have to kind of not say respect their ethos and your own way of doing business. Is there like a thought going into that?
Yeah, so I'm always careful not to say that we were limited by the space. Because again, no matter what, right, I think if not for Jim Craft, we would have died.
Sure,
Confirm,
for sure.
Right? But I think you're right to say that the moment you share space, right? You're talking about, okay, would they mind if we start shouting here, right? Just so, for example, if you are the national trampoline team, right, and they're training next to us, imagine they don't mind us shouting and slamming and whatever, and they are so timing focused, right? So they completely throw off that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for us in the long run. So we're always okay. We want to do these things, but cannot. Timing no good. They're still training. So and the whole idea was let's get out of those places, right? Let's do a place that again has no boundaries in terms of what we want to shoot.
Because this is your space. This is your home base. And talking about your home base, okay, walk us through a little bit about this place in terms of, okay, first of all, right, as we came into the door, you see this area here.
By the way, we're gonna put like a video playthrough while talking about this.
The GrappleMAX Pro Wrestling Studios, this area here, is this meant to be some sort of like a press con area like we're doing now? Because we got the lights and everything.
This is a fan signing for you guys.
The fan signing.
All the Kick to the Gut fans queuing up. signing.
Alright, shout out to all 10 of you guys. Respect.
What? I had our biggest fan is over there. You see that giant fan?
Literally the fan there.
Literally the one fan over there.
No. But yeah, so this is kind of like your interaction area?
Yeah, well, honestly, we're still figuring it out. So,
The ticketing area could be
literally one day before we recorded this. This was still where our black mats, the bump mats. This is
I see, yeah.
we felt that it was a bit too upfront. We want the first thing you see to be either the logo or the ring.
Right.
And then you see this big mat here, it's a bit.
Come in straight away like, oh, okay.
People bumping. So yeah, I think the goal for us is this area will be sort of like a reception, freestanding area. When we do tapings, we are toying with the idea of this being a bit more of a free-form space. So
Okay.
hang around. Hopefully, maybe hang out here, network, and also watch the wrestling and go off from there.
Yeah.
So this space is a bit more freeform, but as you can see, we are experimenting like today with doing recordings and we have that space.
Okay, pretty cool.
Besides this, do you guys want the description of the other?
Yeah, for sure. Walk us through.
Sure. So around the corner, we have a studio, so an actual professional photo video studio.
Oh yeah, I saw like the white screen, right?
Yeah, so we invested in quite a lot of things. So this is really, again, this is the team advising me what we need. So I know honestly nuts about like what photographers need, but fortunately I have the team who know exactly what they need. So we spent, I think we were budgeting about 5-6K on dressing up this area.
Okay.
So we do want to, again, the key goal is not just only what we need, right? right? But again, anybody who wants to create, wrestling portfolio headshots, maybe even beyond wrestling, right? Come and use the space with us and create your promos, your headshots, whatever you need.
Come take your thirst trap photos here.
Speaking of thirst trap, can you walk us through that wall of fame photo wall there?
Photo pillar.
Photo pillar.
Photo wall is cool because it's not something which we have planned. It's something which, again, I keep saying this, right, but the community is the one that said, hey, we need to start having photos on the wall. And again, we couldn't do it in any of our past places because it's not our place now.
Yeah, so you can anyhow just hammer things into the wall.
It's like owning your own house versus renting your own place.
Exactly, right? So I guess later you guys will see. So we have different, I think, clusters of photos is the concept. This is second-hand information. I'm not sure what that is, but I think there is an Inglorious wall. There is a Showtime Inc. wall. There is a general team wall. So I think more to come as we come in. But again, the key point is it's the guys and girls are the ones doing this. I completely no say in this.
That's really dope. I saw like almost like a walk of fame. Like you said there was a plan to have like all your posters hanging as well.
Yeah, so we have reserved one wall to be our sort of walk through our history. So we're putting up a lot of posters. And also it's a shout out to our designers, right? Because Naj and Remus from day one.
Yeah, really talented guys.
All these things, and it's so hard to create unique looking wrestling posters. So it's meant to be sort of a tribute to the artists we worked with over the last few years. So that there'll be a wall of most of our posters. We can't fit all, most of what we can. So we also have an office space, which is where most of our discussions happen. We also want to have discussion areas. So actually these tables are discussion tables. But it's meant to be for people to meet and sort of discuss pro wrestling ideas.
Okay, cool. I was just about to say like there's one thing missing, which I feel probably that might be something you guys will have in mind already. But if you're going to be discussing stuff, I'm assuming you guys going to be watching back your matches as well, right? Shouldn't there be like a huge ass free play
screen, a TV
budget, guys.
Watch on your phone, everybody bring your own phone.
Hey, Prism, can you sponsor or not? Prism, please.
I'll do those videos for Prism for sure. Hey Google, was it?
Right.
Have you approached you guys yet?
No.
Have you seen on Facebook all those like those like chobu all promoting some prison TV?
Yeah. We are not chobu enough. That's the problem.
Damn.
We need to grow up. Anyway,
grow what? Hey, Jordan, only fans. Okay. No.
Anyway, yeah. So we're talking about the photos, the memories. You have like memorabilia there as well in the corner there with title belts.
I won't say all, but it's not that many now. So our titles are all there. So today's Openweight Championship is there. Christian's Wrestle Square Cruiserweight Championship is there.
Is there a commentary area as well?
Yes. So not a designated area just yet, but we have recorded commentary here. That in fact ties into the next point I'll talk about.
Okay,
We've actually soundproofed if you see closely.
Oh yeah.
The reason why we're having this conversation now and can hear each other is because we invested quite a fair bit in soundproofing.
Right.
Because before this, it was all just like hard cement walls.
Correct.
We couldn't even talk like at this.
Right, you would have audio bouncing all
so
over.
imagine you take a bummer. So
Everyone can hear.
the audio test was they literally just popped a balloon. I wasn't here. Dajwan was here.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Wow, bro, gunshots, yeah." Like, literally got the covered ears kind of.
Wow.
Did the balloon explode?
Oh yeah, they
because the sound bounced off.
Oh, I see. So it sounds like a gunshot.
Yeah, it sounds like
so
got
pop it to
it.
hear how long the sound reverberates. And they were your sound reverberates for 11 seconds.
Wow.
So you imagine we're talking, you're hearing our conversation for the next 10 seconds, still hearing it. We couldn't. So we soundproof all the ceiling above the ring, also all the walls on one side.
It's interesting that you point out because now I was just kind of noticing like, did you guys plaster it or what? But now I can see these are all soundproofing panels.
Yeah. We spent no expense, but this was about $14,000 on sound dampening.
This makes me curious, right? Who was the previous tenant here that used to play?
Good question. I think it was an industrial warehouse or something.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
I mean,
I see all these soundproofing things. You know what I think of immediately, right?
What?
Podcast studio.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's beautiful.
I mean, the first one's right here. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we are literally testing things as it is, right?
Any plans to do sort of your own little thing?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're thinking of, again, I think the main goal is create content. That does include maybe like, last week in GrappleMAX, that kind of stuff. And again, it's whatever gives the guys and girls a chance to get on camera and just start doing that.
Right.
You can see we moved so far away from, we're just running wrestling training.
Yep.
It's much bigger than that. So we're looking at recording commentary we just did for House Party over there.
Nice.
We're hoping to do it much faster moving forward. So we just announced our 3-man, hopefully soon to be 4-man commentary team.
Who's your main guys doing commentary?
Currently it's Sean Joseph. Joseph is our wrestler, commentator.
Cool. Nigel
then we have-
McGuinness.
yeah. So we have someone called Mason. So Mason began trading with us, but I believe he has quite a fair bit of background in producing, I think, esports or commentating content.
Okay.
So again, your question earlier about how do we find such people?
Yeah.
It just happens, right? People are attracted by, I think, hopefully the brand, and when they come in, it's welcoming.
Yeah.
People here are very keen to help you know what you want to do. So he's coming in to help us do commentary and set up. And hopefully one more guy coming in soon, who's also an MC kind of background.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so we're hearing maybe a few more surprises in the coming months. Maybe you guys can help us with the commentary too. We've done it before.
Yes, we have. Any thoughts or perhaps aspirations of doing live commentary for the event as opposed to recorded commentary?
Yeah, for sure. Use your tongue. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. As long as you don't say it twice in a row, then you're clear.
Oh, for sure.
You don't. Oh, there you go. Now you've infringed on the trademark.
Beetlejuice come out. It's all good.
Yeah, so we definitely plan to do it. So this upcoming show we'll talk about later on, I guess. It's sort of a test run to make sure we have all the logistics down. In future, we will think about doing live, but we don't know how the acoustics sound yet. We're going to try, but definitely something we are exploring. Yeah, we can try and do that.
Yeah, pretty cool. So I was just thinking, in terms of like using it for content creation, for photography, for social media. What kind of like now I'm talking like more like big business really,
Sure.
right? Like bringing in potential sponsors, potential collabs, right? Do you kind of plan it in such a way like, okay, we got this photo space, let's talk to a photography brand, or like we got commentary, like you base the potential collab opportunities on the kind of services you can provide, or is it more of like, you gotta love wrestling first, whatever business or whatever skill set you can have, we'll figure it out after the fact?
It's a good question. I have two answers for you.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I think the first part is this is about collabs, right? Who we want to work with.
Yeah.
We definitely are planning the space to facilitate, to make collabs easy. So we've been approached by how do I say without spoiling? It's by another movement-based.
Movement-based.
Bro, your terms, bro.
Now I'm going to start people speculating. No, it's not wrestling related yet, but they're looking into how can we intersperse what we do with pro wrestling.
Right.
I see.
So, and they were like, actually, can we use this space because it's high ceiling, it's got this you can't see on camera, but this padded flooring.
Yes.
And again, soundproofing, so we can all the noise we want we can make, and it's okay. So it is giving a flexible space for people to try and create that.
Yeah.
The photo studio obviously is meant to be for photographers and videographers to create and to test different things. So all that is with an eye on how we can bring in more collaborators.
Yeah.
The second question was, must you love wrestling first? So this is a fun part, right? So we have a running gag in the team, which is the next guy who walks in, who's not linked to GrappleMAX, right? Will he or she be a wrestling fan? Then we bet on that. Right? And our strong suspicion, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that 7 out of 10 people have watched wrestling at some point in their life, and they love wrestling. Right, so we've been trying. We tried with the guy who delivered our ladders, our chairs last week. Hey, uncle, you. Hey, I love how good it.
Oh,
you know wrestling?
this is uncle lah, like proper uncle.
Yeah, right. Our security guard confirmed wrestling fans. Right, the guys who our estate guys also wrestling fans. They came in, hey, what you're doing? Because they heard to see the lights, right? Oh, it's on boxing. No, not boxing, wrestling. Oh, UFC. No, WWE. Hey, bro, they wrestling and they begin to fake punch each other.
They got that's the most wrestling fan thing to do. My favorite is right when someone says, "Hey, you wrestling fan? Let's start doing the super kick." slap the thigh.
I think you guys started that. You guys started that.
Okay, that's
your test of biceps started that.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay.
No, so I think that's the thing, right? So it's a bit of both, right? So yes, it is meant to facilitate any collaborator to come in here and create stuff, but we are banking very heavily on you have some connection to pro wrestling. Yeah, and we're always seeing that, right? So someone asked me, I was talking to someone from PTX last week, and we were talking about who actually is your audience.
Yeah.
It's quite fun. So they saw it, or she saw it as you are not a pro wrestling fan yet.
Okay.
That's why you come to us, which is what we thought we were before, right? What I think we are, and again, I don't know how this will play out, but I think what we are is you are still a wrestling fan. You just don't know it yet.
Okay. Right.
They call it a revert.
A revert. Because you had some stage of your life, maybe you watched the Attitude Era, maybe it was the 80s golden era.
Yeah.
I believe every human being, right, was born a wrestling fan.
Because the art of combat, two people not seeing eye to eye, competition, it's innate in us. What?
Yeah, it's true. It's storytelling.
Yeah, it's storytelling. Yeah.
I mean, okay, let's to generalize it. I think storytelling, action, all these things that we watch for entertainment, it's pro wrestling anyway.
And it's a very visual art as well, because people can see, these two are trying to best each other.
Yeah.
So yeah. In terms of that, right, you talk about people you didn't know or whoever guessed was a wrestling fan. Who was your so-called, maybe a past collaborator, current collaborator, or maybe potential collaborator that really surprised, like, hey, this guy actually like wrestling, and then like it piqued your interest?
Wow, tough one. Okay, maybe somewhat related, right? So I have someone who he is from the circus community.
Okay.
Wow.
So the circus community in Singapore called the Bonfire.
Right.
So in fact, they're the ones who intro us to the Chingay team many years ago, just before COVID. Right. So we knew he was a wrestling guy because he joined us for training many years ago. What surprised me was we were having lunch right after that. And he asked me, "Hey, you know Kevin Ho?" Then I'm like, yeah, he's my brother. Hey, what? He was my wrestling buddy back in school. We were the only two wrestling fans in school.
Really? Oh my
I go to his house and play SmackDown together.
Wait, go to your house, right?
Yes. Bro, what?
Wow.
So it's, so maybe not exactly your question, but it's like everybody, it seems to have some kind of history of like, I played the games before, or I had a championship belt, or my father brought me to a wrestling. And to me, I think that's a more interesting pitch to reach out to. Right? I think we can spend all decade trying to convince people why wrestling is amazing. Right? But let's not waste time doing that. Right? Let's focus on why it's still amazing to you. Why did you like it before? Right? Can we reignite that interest and passion? Right? Then what I'm banking on, right? This is my whole business plan. What I'm banking on, right, is those people will then want to tell their friends and family. Right? Because what I found people had trouble with before is not that they don't like wrestling. Is you tell your friends and family, hey, I'm a number one favorite is pro wrestling. Half the time, hey, what you watch, bro? It's fake one, MMA or UFC now, right? One championship, right? And it's very hard for them to say, but hang on, it's so cool because blah 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 blah, right? And what we found talking to a lot of our audience members after the shows is, I loved it because I brought my dad, or I brought my family, or my wife, or my family, or my kids, and it felt not like a traditional violent wrestling show, right? And it gave me a reason to say, come down and try it, and let me share with you why I love wrestling. Right? And to me, that's super cool. Right? That is a much more interesting market to talk to because they want to be invested, but they don't know how to do it.
I see.
So we want to sort of help them create those conversations.
Get Active SG, please talk to this man. So let's see some GrappleMAX shows at the Heartland celebrations.
We literally are recommending you all the potential sponsors too.
Right?
Always open.
Prism lah, Active SG lah.
Always.
So let's talk about the road ahead, right? So obviously you're going to do shows out of this lovely facility that you guys have had. But talk to us, because now you have the capabilities to do more content as well. You talk about commentary, you talk about cutting vignettes and stuff like that, right? More content coming out on the various platforms. What platforms are we talking about? Like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube?
Across the board. I think we've always been pushing out content across the board. So Facebook, IG, X, I guess.
X. Well, how weird does that sound, by the way? X. X me, bro. X me. Like, what? No. X me on X. Anyway, another podcast. But also, like, are you basically? I'm basically asking you, are you going to do like full-on half-an-hour shows for YouTube, for example?
Well, so the thing is, we can. The question is, do people want to see it these days, right?
Okay.
I mean, even WWE, right? Like, do they constantly put on half-an-hour shows on free YouTube? They don't do that, right?
No.
Don't think it's what they do. I mean, it's short highlights. And I mean, this is not a new argument, right? People are moving towards the shorter and shorter attention. I mean, you guys both know as well. It's all very short attention spans, all about your TikToks and your very short clips or your reels. So I think what we benefit from this new place, right, is we're able to create a lot larger variety of content. So before, again, limited team, limited content, it was let's put the same thing out across the board: Facebook, IG, Twitter, X, even Threads. Whereas now we're able to try a lot of different things: short form, long form. We just got our first TikTok intern, so hopefully, shout out to Titus. Right, so he will help us hopefully finally crack. He's a Gen Z kid, so he would hopefully help us crack it.
That's what we need, a TikTok intern, bro.
Bro, we've been trying. Please.
Titus, you got time or not?
Anyone knows how, please ping us.
Okay.
But it is, again, it's a place of the guys and girls have so many ideas of what they want to create, right? And it's just back then it was, okay, but where to make, where to film, right? Gymcraft can, but my thing is what it is. Acoustics echo like crazy, right? And at some point it just looks not, it's okay lah, but that's about it. So this space again is, okay, what do you want to create? You want to do a TikTok series? Let's go. Let's whack. Right? We have the place, we have the lighting, we have the place. I just need your ideas. I just need your time. And we push it out. So I think the answer is sort of a mixed yes. Right? It is yes, we want to create a lot more things. I'm not sure the answer is a 30-minute rest.
Right.
So it's along those lines, but you're going to see us push out a lot more content moving forward. Yeah.
Really cool. One other thing I wanted to ask as well, right? We've talked all about the facility, right? Let's talk about the wrestlers. Let's talk about your kids, the people in the community, right? How do you feel, right, in terms of the potential for growth for them in this facility, and who do you think can really make the next step up? I'm not just talking about like specific names, but I in terms of like, we haven't talked about like your so-called workshops, right? We haven't talked about how you guys gonna go about with your training. What is the plan with that? I'm not asking about whether will the syllabus change or like, but yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. We can talk about that for sure, right? Yeah, but I think generally what I'm trying to say is like focusing on the people now. What do you think will change? How do you think they will take to this new environment?
I think before that, I think a big shout out to Dave, right? So I know that narrative-wise, he and I are always not supposed to be on the same page.
Forever.
Right, blah, blah, blah. I think Dave is someone who has been watching the community very closely for us. So he is the guy who is pretty much on the ground and making sure everyone is very happy with where they are on the card. So in fact, I handed over booking duties to him quite some time ago. So he is sort of like our Kevin Feige, I guess. So he is watching the law of what we're doing.
Right.
And I think it's very important for us, right? Because again, this is from the fans. The fans tell us that they come to us because they see us building stories for months and months and months, for years in fact. But we needed someone to sort of be that showrunner, that law protector, right? To help us make sure, hey, this one cannot because so and so fought in whatever small taping many months ago.
Wow. So he keeps track of all of that.
Yeah, and I think we're going to sort of help to grow that team as well.
Right.
But again, without people in these places, like it's impossible for me and the core and the team to watch every single thing. So I think what we did, which was quite clever of us, was really identifying who can fill in these different places. So I think it is because of those connections that he's been building that we're able to really know, again, what makes everyone tick, right? And if you go back to the initial goal of us, right, of GrappleMAX, it was never, let's find the next Undertaker, right? Go and become the guy from Death Valley, right? It's not, it's always what makes you interesting, right? And I think as the community grew, it became harder for us to keep recalling, this one is interesting because blah, blah, blah. This is our goal, this is his goal. And so having a very clear structure helped us develop that. Because as much as you want to just enforce it, you can't, right? Even though we are a pro wrestling promotion. When people end up, I want you to lose 20 matches in a row. At some point, right? Even though I want to say, you're just a character, don't worry about it, right? At some point, you will ask, is it because I'm not good enough? Right? So we need to make sure that we understand everyone. What are their concerns? Are they really okay with this? Right? Do you understand why we're doing this, right? There always is a reason, but do they understand? Is the key question for us. And again, I think it's what makes us quite special, because we really see each of these guys and girls as an important part of the puzzle.
Right.
So back to the question, which was
environment, structure, syllabus. Yes.
Sorry. No, but yes. Okay. So environment-wise, again, I think you guys follow Showtime Inc. Right?
Yes.
Super example of what happens when we let the team run on their own, right? I have very little say into what, or they very little input into what Val and the team do for Showtime, right? We give them the broad structure of what they need to be covering, what are we promoting, then just go out there.
Bro, it's like Paul Heyman and the Bloodline, just doing their own thing.
I love it, right? I love it at the expense of Inglorious awareness, but it's okay. Another day we talk about it. But they're doing a great job of like running with what we give them, right? We give you free form and we trust you guys to go far, but don't get cancelled, basically. Don't go far enough. So it is really giving the guys a lot more room to tell us, I want to try this, right? Like again, back to you mentioned Jordan, right? Our should have been a first trap Jordan, right? But he was like, hey guys, I don't want this Oppa thing. Okay. And I think he told you guys.
He made it very clear.
This is not
scary guy now.
And yet he has a photo showing off his abs.
Yeah, he had no say in that.
By the way, if you are ever here, go and see the wall, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
If he leaves it there, I think
You know what he should do? You know what he should do? He should put a QR code if he's pay now.
Oh my gosh. You mean his OnlyFans link? No.
Okay.
No, but yeah. So again, it is again listening to them, right? And what do you want to create? Well, what's the character you want to create? And obviously, we will push back and say this one maybe isn't a strong suit. But rather than don't do, it's not for you, right? Okay, this is what's missing. Right? Maybe your promo is not so strong yet. Maybe you just don't look the part. Maybe try this, right? Maybe you need to do some photos to cover that look and make people believe it's you. Right? And again, you just couldn't do it before. This is where the space comes in, right? And every space here we intend to use as production, as letting those visions come to life. That really needs to go. In terms of, we're talking about the curriculum, right? This ties into that, which is, so, when we first began, I was always talking about our grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, I think, and then most people love that. But we began to realize that we made a mistake in the grading curriculum, right? Because we were so focused on setting it based on moves. So grade 1 was you do these moves. Grade 2, these moves. Grade 3, harder moves, right? Because at that point in time, Dennis and I, who made the original one, were like, this is how we want to train people, right? You going through difficulty levels, right? But then we were looking at the guys and the girls, right? And we were like, okay, fundamentally, even if I said to you, a DDT is a level 3 move, you wait 2 years to go and learn, it doesn't really reflect the real journey. Right? Like you could easily be a grade 1, but you know how to train safe. Right? You want to do DDT as a finishing move. Right? Then we say, oh sorry, cannot, sorry bro, you only grade 1, you cannot do it. It felt like it created too many problems for us. So again, going back to the community, right? What do you guys want to develop? Right? What makes more sense over a 2-year journey? And it wasn't I want to learn harder moves. Right? It was, how do I become a better performer? How do I become a better performer, both in terms of showmanship, promos, but also, and this is your ring general stuff. Right? How do you learn how to control a match? How do you learn to help someone who is brand new do what the coaches have been doing through graduation matches? And that's the goal, right? Instead of using this time to learn more difficult moves. Sure, that's cool, right? But that's on your own time. Right? Spend this time developing skills which you naturally learn over many, many matches with us. Stage presence, ring positioning, right? Then I think a very clear example for moves is, instead of learning, say, a sidewalk slap, that's a move, right? But that setup can be used for what else? Backbreaker, maybe tilt the wall, right? A lot of things you can do. So learn to be a better base rather than learn a sidewalk slap, right? So all that comes with experience, which you can learn over time.
I recall as well last time, right, when you guys had your grade 3, only when you were grade 3 then you can have your own gimmick, or like you can kind of have your own character, right? Has it changed in a way? Because I still see like the newer guys are really experimenting as well.
Yeah, I mean it's changed. I mean it's very clear that it's changed to everyone, right? I mean Aussie grade 2, for example, right? And they're one of our most over characters on the team. So I think again it's about evolving, right? And one thing we felt was, okay, it is a bit too limiting to say that you gotta die wait for grade 3. Right. So we have been thinking, how do we redefine, right? And in the end, I think the real benefit for going up through the grades we found was not like creating these gated things where, oh, you win, you pass now, you can earn your ring name, or you earn your merchandise or whatever, right? I think what people really took away from the journey is, like I said earlier, is learning how to be a better wrestler. And that in itself is what we want to make the fulfilling journey. Then as we go along, maybe more perks, maybe more perks from sponsors, more perks from partners. But the journey is what we want to be the reward for what.
Do you think, in a way, though, that is a little bit more vague? Because, like, the whole idea of, for example, if you go do karate or you do Muay Thai, you got like level 1, level 2, level 3, right? So there's always, quote unquote, something to look forward to. So now, sort of taking that away, do you think that's a little bit more vague? Like, okay, I've been here 2 years, but where am I really? I don't know if I'm level 1, 2, 3, 4, 10.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, we've been debating this for the last 6 months because we've been talking with the training team. And it is like, okay, how do we balance giving some kind of carrot to look forward to, but not be seen as like artificially gating it by, oh, you cannot wear this t-shirt. It's a bit, we did think about like grade specific t-shirts, like grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. So we might still do that, but it went back to, okay, in the end, what is the value that you want to have? Like if I said after all this work, congrats, here's your grade 3 t-shirt. You feel shocked now. I don't know. We're not sure. Right? So we don't want to be just focused on that. Which is I think what it was before. It was let's go through all these things. Okay, congrats. You now have a name. T-shirt, merchandise, congrats, you have it. But then what? Right? Or is that enough?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but I also see Young's point where like there is merit in having these grades to kind of at least show your skill level.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know whether you guys know like NXT's performance center, like how they do their curriculum, right? Not that I know lah, but
I'm gonna ask you because I don't.
but
You call up Shawn Michaels the other day.
no, I DM him. Shout out to Dante. Right? Okay. No, but the point is right. From what I see, from what I observe, from watching NXT's training and all that, right? They have grades, but it's almost like subjects. Like for example, give you an example. Instead of grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, it's like O levels. Okay, so there's promo class, there's submission class, there's high flying class, blah blah blah. And then when you get better at level 1 promo, they go to level 2 promo.
Correct.
And then they can be a level 2 promo, but they can be a level 1 technical game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like collecting a bit of the points in different grades.
So it's like playing my GM mode or my a wrestler in a 2K game, is it?
Yeah, in a way, right?
So sometimes you level up, you're high flying, but you neglect the submission.
Because it kind of reflects the reality of a wrestler, right? Because some people want to be better at certain things, or they are aware they are lacking and they want to work on that.
But as long as your entire package equals
Overall
using the game as an analogy.
No, I'm just saying that I don't know whether that's something you guys ever thought about or considered, because I feel like, in my opinion, I think that reflects the reality of a wrestler's journey, education-wise.
How do I answer you?
You can say he's bullshit, bro.
No. I want to neither confirm nor deny this discussion.
Okay.
We've been talking about, so we've always had this fabled 10 grades of GrappleMAX. So we've only got 3 so far. We have been thinking for since the beginning about specialization.
I see.
Right, because in the end, even the OG team, right? Like myself, Dennis, Dave, like we're so different. Right? Like, I need? Does Dave need to go and learn how to go and do say a tilt-a-whirl crossface? Right? Must I go and learn Dennis's whatever high flying things he does? Not really, right? It's not really
what works for you.
It's what works for you, right? So at some point, it also goes back to, are we limiting them too much, right? By saying that, grade 3, you must learn these few things. Maybe I don't know these moves, right? But do we need like a bulldozer learning how to go and do a high flying runner? No, it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't have to. So how do we then build it that way, right? So we have discussed it. It's a work in progress. But you're seeing the first part of it now with. So to be very clear, we're not doing away with grading. It's not gone, right? We will still reflect 1, 2, 3, and maybe beyond that. What we've changed is how we are defining the grades, right? So rather than it is grade 1 move, grade 2 move, grade 3 move, now forget that, right? Grade 1 and 2 are the moves. Grade 3 is where you talk about how do I become a good wrestler, right? So that's the change, right? And then along that path, then you open up maybe other paths of how you want to develop. And again, all these things don't just come from like us sitting together and thinking, we should teach these things. It is asking the team, right? What are areas where you think you want to develop more, right? So we are like super community driven. Right? Everything is let's sit down and okay, what do you want to do? Right? We may not have all the answers. I probably can't teach some super elaborate high flying thing, right? Swanton bombs I've been self-taught. I don't do swanton bombs, right? But I don't do it, right? Ravens can teach some flips here and there, right? I don't do it. But we know people in the team who can teach particular skill sets. So again, it is just what's the cool word? It's democratizing all these things, right? It's giving to other people to go and run. We just create the space to make it happen. And that is the new direction for GrappleMAX. So I think the solidified version of us. Right? I think going back to the branding, right? From day one, we were calling ourselves the OGs would know we were Pro Wrestling Collective.
Yes,
was the original name.
Recall it,
right? It was wait, what does that mean? And because we never had a place to make it into a collective, it was always okay. Let's kill it. Let's just be pro wrestling. It's too complicated. Right? The irony now, right, is that now that we're here, right, it is a collective. We just don't say it is anymore, right? Because it is come down and just contribute. And the bigger goal is we will help you amplify it. Whatever skill set you have, let's amplify it. And let's have more people benefit, let's have the industry benefit, let's have the region benefit. So that's for us the very exciting way moving forward that we hope to achieve.
So to that point, right, when you talk about like your workshop, so what drives, for example, I don't know the frequency of the workshops that you guys do, right? But like what drives that week's narrative or what you guys are training that week? For example, let's say I'm somebody new, I want to jump in and like, this week is I don't know, top rope stuff. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, like, can I even jump in? You'll never be.
Just try, let's try.
Just try, like, put mats there. You
Got
just
you, bro. No, just tuck your chin, you'll be okay. No, so obviously not. So the basic goals haven't changed, right? So we are still focusing on progressive workshops, progressive training of how we run wrestling. So when you join, in fact, we made it clearer now. So one problem we had before was that we had brand new guys coming in and they would join the basic sessions, basic workshops. But because it's so hard to teach even one wrestling move, right? And all the coaches would also agree with this. Teaching a headlock takedown, it's so hard to teach. You need to one-to-one focus for 1 hour, so you don't break the other guy's neck, right? So imagine you have one new guy in a class in a workshop of say 12 people, right? It's so hard to do that because you have to focus on one fella, run the rest, then you bring in more coaches, that doubles your manpower cost. So how do you do that? So we're breaking it up. So this is for everyone who wants to join us. So from now on, we're running tryouts every single week. At least one, ideally two. So we're doing Tuesday, Saturday. This session is just for brand new people. Right? And it's a fixed thing we teach you. Right? It is just, here is a tasting menu. Here is a taster of what it feels like to be a GrappleMAX pro wrestler. It's fixed. Right? So then we have more coaches who can run it because it's fixed. Right? So we'll run that for you, right? Once you clear that, you like it, great. Join a fundamentals course. Right. And again, separate from the basics classes, right? It's going to run you through most or maybe about half of the grade one set that we're teaching, right? Then when you finish all that, okay, now when you join the regular classes, when I say to everyone, okay, let's go, international sport, let's do headlock. There won't be one guy going, which is okay, it's not a problem, right? But it does mean that the class structure has to change.
Correct.
So now that again, we have a space now, we can run as much as we want, right? We can run every day, right? People want to do 7 a.m., let me know. I'll run 7 a.m. classes, also can.
Before you go to work, 7 a.m. do 2 hours.
Can do, no problem, right? After lunch also can, but I see no one doing that. Right? Maybe can, right? So that's the goal. We're going to test everything we can to grow this pro wrestling community here.
Logan Paul said recently, I don't know whether you heard this quote. He said, like, wrestling is so much more mentally more taxing, more difficult than boxing. Right? He said that. And then because technically he's done both. So technically he can be a judge. He can be a judge on that, right? And I was just thinking as well, right? Wrestling it's almost like you said, it's a human nature, but it's also something incredibly difficult because it's coordination, and also to think character-wise. And then you're in pain, and then you have to like still sell, or whatnot, right? So I'm just curious, like, in terms of your philosophy of how you kind of approach people who go for the tryouts, for example, right? What is so far the kind of people that has kind of walked through the door interested in the tryouts, and what do they foresee? Like, do they come in and say, hey, I want to train to be a wrestler, or like, because you said you're going away with like, I just want to train to be fit, right? What are the kind of people that's walking through the door, and how do you kind of like reach out to them?
Yeah, so early days for us, because we literally moved in 1 week ago.
Yes.
Right? And I think what we needed before that was we couldn't really sell the dream without showing the space. So we tried to pre-market, but it's like cannot visualize. So we only began marketing properly last week. So we were shooting a lot of stuff the week before. But I think the people we're seeing so far, they do seem to meet that particular profile, which is definitely a wrestling fan at some point, and they want to have the experience of learning how to be a pro wrestler. So definitely that. How we're reaching out, I think that hasn't changed, right? So it's still very solid marketing, content creation. It's also running a lot more of these outside collaborative events, right? And again, not because we want to convert that particular audience to ours, but we are choosing collaborators whose audience we believe has some level of prior interest in pro wrestling, and we can convert some of them.
I see.
Yeah. So a mix. I guess the TLDR answer is still working it out. But what we're seeing so far is yes, it's very much those where I want to know more about how to join.
Okay.
But I think what is also quite exciting is we're being approached by people who are not wrestlers. Right? Again, you're artists, you're musicians. Hey, how do I create wrestling themes? How can I meet the wrestlers? How can I try to shoot action choreography but for pro wrestling? Right. And it's you know what? We have a studio. Maybe come and try here. Right? So, and again, I keep saying this, but I'm so excited because we couldn't do this before. No matter what we tried, we could not expand in this many ways before. That we could potentially, I can't say for sure because we haven't quite done it yet, but we potentially could expand in those places from now on with this new place.
Cool. I feel like this conversation will be a lot more in depth in about 6 months' time when things have settled down and sort of found the right spot into the groove, that kind of thing.
Good to do a check-in.
Yeah.
So I always see you guys when all these big milestones happen. Before we started, before we opened GrappleMAX, all these different things.
It lives on the internet, so it's really great to always go back and because I will, randomly I will look back at our first few episodes.
Really?
I remember like season 1, I think it was like we were promoting. I think that was around the time before my training. I think it was like 2018, late 2018. And we had Lady Killer on the show, Showtime for the first time. And like it's always like you're right, it's always like before big milestones happen, right?
Remember we met him at
Millennial War.
War.
We had that
the kopi at Starbucks.
You know, because if you're asking about like my take on WWE wrestling, right? My answer is very boring one. I don't have time to watch anymore. So what I can share with you guys is really the state of the industry for us and what the business plan is. But the wrestling side hard for me to comment these days.
I got an interesting question. I think this is just inspired from a recent interview that me and Young did. The road to becoming a pro wrestler in this region, right? Going through the GrappleMAX system, like. Do you think that, like, how are you supporting if someone has that dream? If they want to be able to, like, hey, I want to wrestle in Singapore, I want to wrestle in the region, and eventually I want to go to, like, Japan or AEW or WWE, right? Like, with this new setup, how do you think you can support that journey?
Well, the goal hasn't changed, right? So again, from day one, yes, we do target your typical, your working guy, working class person who wants to maybe dabble in pro wrestling for fun, right? But again, we have people in the team who have all done overseas wrestling. Myself is one, Dave, Remus, Wilson, a lot of them have wrestled overseas. LK for sure, right? And Sean and YC, Aussie just finished their Aussie tour, so now they're legit Aussie.
Finally claim to that.
Yeah, right? So we have that, right? So we are still creating the opportunities for them. I think one thing people do miss when it comes down to I'm trying to promote myself to other promotions is they're missing a hype reel. They're missing a good portfolio. Right? It's always like they throw together these random indie
handphone
videos.
feel.
Yeah, then it's like okay, I get it, but it's just how it's been done for so long. Right? But again, like hey, how about you have a nice presentable place to create your portfolio here? Right? Then we know your moveset, let's do it together. Let's film them solid looking, almost like a career wrestler, the move selection.
And then you do show reel here.
Do show reel here, right? Shoot your headshot here, right? Maybe cut a sample promo here. You need audience, guess what? We have a show every month, right? Come and do something here. Right? And it's I think it's along those lines where it's easy to say that, wow, I want to go wrestle in Japan. I want to wrestle overseas, right? Sure, right? But how do you get there? That's the difficult part, right? Either you know someone, or you are really, or Dante Chen, where you're so skilled, you really just all the way through because you are so good that they can't ignore your skill set and your quality, right? That's Dante. But otherwise, it's a lot of knowing people, right? And getting the chance to even have those conversations, right? And we had the connections before. Right? We're very good friends again with Gato Move, Sakura-san, Amy Sakura, Takanashi, Masa, all of them, right? Good friends of ours. But we're just missing the place to let people create those portfolios, right? So I think that's part of it, where we will have those conversations, but we help you create the what's the word? The portfolio, I guess. Your moves list, your promos, it's all going to be done here.
You brought a great point. So does Amy, Sakura, Dick Togo all know that there's this new facility?
Yeah, for sure. So, I said so much shit. So,
again, Beetlejuice.
I'm so sorry. So they know for sure. They were one of the first who I texted about this. Togo-san, he's someone who, I mean, again, he's a co-founder right, from day one, so he knew about it very early on. No spoiler to say he does want to come down, but it's really just schedule. So we got to figure out. Also, we haven't run a single show here yet, so we do want to test and see, okay, what does logistics look like, landlord happy or not, that kind of stuff. So make sure it's all okay. Then we talk about, okay, who can we bring in, and even then again, it's all about bringing guests who are strategic for us, rather than again no knock on the rest, but we don't focus on bringing in big stars. Right? Always who wants to help us grow this business, grow the industry moving forward.
Talking about doing shows, so as of the release of this video, this weekend would be rolling your first show, right? So, okay, if I'm not mistaken, this one was by, like, people could have just slipped into your DMs to ask for invites?
Something like that. So it's a mix. So different people got tickets from different places.
I see.
By the point of this, we are already full house. Next time, please come up and make sure. So it's a mix of we ran an IG competition.
Yes.
We gave some tickets to people who attended our last event as a thank you for coming. We are running a few promos in different places.
Right.
So that's what we're doing. It is very much, and also a big lot of people who we've worked with before. So former collaborators, friends, industry people who want to see more of what we're doing. So it is a mix of people for rolling.
So would you say it's like an open house sort of vibe? Like, hey, this is our new house, come check it out.
I hope so. I think open house, like an opening ceremony, because we realized we never ever had like a grand opening.
Right.
Cut ribbon lah.
Are you guys gonna cut ribbon?
I don't know yet. We're thinking we should.
Flowers set outside.
I don't know. I hope so. To my guests who are coming. Not saying I like flowers, but
Roll the pineapple.
pineapple, yes. But okay, you guys should wait for Sarah Cohart's socials.
Oh, okay.
There's something coming up there apparently.
Okay.
We did roll pineapple as a team earlier.
Right.
There's a mark there when someone chewed pineapple too hard. So chew so hard, he is a real champion at Najuan.
Have you even done anything to think what?
Before the soundproofing
Okay.
so hard, got me right arm. So very much an opening ceremony for us. And also, again, it is creating a lot more for our marketing to say, look, this is what we're doing now. This is what the new GrappleMAX looks like. Right? Come up with us on this particular space. So very much open house. And also speaking of that, so we're finding that this whole open house concept, right, also works super well for us. In fact, house party, I think they all came from previous house party. I think maybe foreign did, right? And we're seeing that it's a very easy way to attract people in. Right? Because people bring their families, they bring their kids. We had so many kids, super cool, and they were like learning how to do a bump, how to run safely, okay? So how to try to break fall, how to run the ropes. And then they hang around and then they watch wrestling performance, right? A short wrestling show. And it became such a great way for us to grow that awareness. So we definitely are toying with the idea of let's run a lot more house parties here. Right? This is coming directly, and already now the community is hanging out here almost all the time. It's crazy. Like even after last Saturday morning's workshop, normally it's like, okay, go where for lunch, right? It became, okay, let's go tapao, right? Then I'll come back here, sit here and do a lunch party and talk about wrestling, talk about work.
Is this a rare day where it's relatively empty?
Yeah. Today is Sunday. We have workshops in the morning. And then it's empty because we reserve it for you guys.
Oh, guys. So sorry.
That's too nice.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Okay. You guys are giving us a great service also. But it is pretty happening, and we're really hoping to get more of that that community feel.
Alright. I think that's a great segue to kind of launch into the preview of rolling, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's talk about the card, which I have it in front of me right now. So you're gonna open with card subject to change, like as usual.
The order might be different.
But we got the 6-man tag, Showtime Inc. versus CBLK. Wait, who's CBLK?
Crypto Bro.
Crypto Bro LK,
All
right?
the summarize.
Right, I was like CBLK.
No spoilers there, I don't have, right?
I don't know spoilers.
I mean, it's wrestling's a real
matches.
fight. Wrestling's a real fight.
Yes.
Okay.
No spoilers.
Ryan and Kelvin.
Yes. Okay, you're gonna ask me what you guys, right?
Yes. So I was like, Ryan and Kelvin don't sound familiar.
Yeah. Okay. Showtime, you guys know that, so you don't need any introduction.
Showtime,
right?
Julian, and Prabhu.
Yes, that's right. So that's them. Showtime is this is yes, correct. Okay, so that's the match on rolling. CBLK, you guys know him very well.
Yeah.
Right. So this is, I think you mentioned this before at Settle Outside. So this is yet another well-disguised Grade 1 graduation match.
Oh, okay, I see.
remember that comment.
Yeah, I remember that too. So I guess this is less disguised now. So Calvin is someone who just passed his Grade 1. In fact, just before we moved, just passed his Grade 1. So this is a great showcase for him. Super athletic, works out in the gym a lot. Very good basics, learns super fast. I think he got to grading, I think less than 4 months, I think around there. So pretty fast by our average standards lah. Ryan is interesting because he and I had a singles match at Settle Outside.
Which was this guy.
He was so he calls himself the Grade 1. So he is still learning the ropes a lot in terms of sort of storytelling. But interesting character because he came up to face me in that open challenge. Right. So again, learning. So I think Calvin and Ryan both learning the ropes. This is definitely a proving ground match for the two of them, right? And Showtime guaranteed to run some ridiculous interference through the match. So again, difficult for Calvin and Ryan for their first time. But should be fun. Plus they have LK in the corner who is always there to take care of the kids. So I think it should be quite a fun 6-man.
Okay. Before we move on to the rest, right? Are any of them like not supposed to be on the card? If you know what I mean.
No.
These are all going to be.
These are no.
You learn your lesson already.
Okay.
Good question. No, so no. How do I? No
surprise, impromptu.
I don't want to wrongly promise lah. So so what we're announcing should be the card.
Okay.
Barring any
Card subject
to change. Always subject.
So all these names are fine. Please go ahead.
Let's talk about Joseph versus Sean.
Okay. So Joseph and Sean, can we talk about the triple threat first? Is that okay? Then it will tie back.
Cruiserweight title of Jordan.
Sure.
Jordan versus Christian and Simon.
We have two headline matches for this taping. Right, so one is a triple threat, Wrestle Square Cruiserweight Championship.
That's right.
Right, so Chris is holding the belt. He's facing off against Simon, who officially won the #1 contendership at Settle Outside. Right, he beat Crypto Bro LK.
Yes, that's right.
But there was some interference from Jordan. Right.
I don't know, happy remember.
Very angry Jordan, fuming inside.
Exactly. Right, so very angry Jordan, no longer our Oppa OnlyFans guy, but never mind, it's okay, right? We'll deal with that, right? So, Christian defending, right? Simon's the official #1 contender. Jordan very angry, right? Because Jordan faced Christian at Settle Outside. He lost to Chris, but his foot was on the ropes.
Correct.
The ref didn't see it. So Jordan feels very strongly that he's owed another title shot. So he attacked LK and Simon during the contendership match at Settle Outside. He sort of ruined it, but Simon won anyway. Then at House Party, Jordan came out to attack Chris at the end of the main event. So Chris got mad, challenged him. You know what? You want it so bad? Come join the match, right? Triple threat. Jordan versus Simon versus Christian. Super cool because again, this is one example of us building this for a very long time. Chris, great champion, super fan favorite. Whenever he comes out, the fans love him, and really developing his cruiserweight moveset as we go along. Simon, a bit more of a quiet guy. His English is not his first language, so he speaks a lot of Mandarin, but he's really pushing very hard to cut English promos, and you're going to see one coming out quite soon. So he's trying really hard. Please support him.
Honestly, I don't mind if he cuts a Mandarin promo. It's pretty badass.
No, he doesn't want to do it. He wants to do English. He wants to push himself and do an English promo.
I mean, he has that. Like I think I said it before, like the Darby Allin, quiet.
And he's a pretty great high flyer as well, right?
And I think what really stood out to me was his facials.
Yeah.
I know that sounds very weird, but like just the way it is. Only to me. Yeah, but just the intensity, the burning inside, sort of like like he pulls it off very well.
Gabriel is a great comparison.
Yeah, so I don't know if he needs to cut too many promos.
True.
Honestly.
Yeah. So I think it's also again back to what they want to do. Right?
Yeah,
and I think if he goes, I want to do English promos, right? Then we will help to direct him to get him there. And I think we really got to respect the effort put into cutting these promos. It's not easy for him to learn and get all these lines out. It's a really, really clear process.
But I think if he masters it, he can become like the Santos Escobar.
Yeah, it's another tool in the bag.
I can cut loose.
And again, he can do it here.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it before. So that's Simon, right? I think the legit official number one contender. Then you have Jordan, right? Super aggressive, wild card, right? Don't know what he's gonna do, but really growing his striking game. Right? He's probably the hardest striker we have right now in the entire roster. Right? So I think these three, honestly, no idea at this point in time. Right? It's wild, man. But I think what's really cool as a founder of GrappleMAX, right, co-founder of GrappleMAX, is that we never had a cruiserweight division before this.
Right.
Right? Because you go back to when we started, right? It's about GrappleMAX, right? It was always like, I didn't do cruiserweight stuff, and it was let's focus so much on grappling and telling stories with no rules, right? And to look at this 7 years later and to have such a developed cruiserweight division, right? 3 super strong guys at different levels of experience, all able to put on like a high level cruiserweight title match. Right? To me, it's super cool. Like just from a own self mark point of view, I think it's really cool to have come to this point where we have all types of wrestling now, which we didn't quite have back in 2016.
And I think as an outsider's perspective, even for like a casual fan just watching the matches, right, you can see like Jordan, Christian, and some have very distinct personalities. Even though they're in a cruiserweight division, their styles differ, and very clear heel face, heel dynamic kind of thing. So like, it feels like 3 wrestlers gunning for a title, and it feels fully formed. Right.
Yeah, and I think one thing you mentioned about heel face, we do recognize that. I think very early on for us, we didn't do that very strong. It was very much about let's just go fight, man. Let's just you guys figure it out, heel face, right? Or who's the face? As you go along, you see that we are focusing a lot more on how do we build those very clear illustrations of who's the heel and face. And this match very clear. Like Jordan's your very clear heel, Kristen's your very clear face. Simon's leaning towards face, but who knows, right? So it's quite fun for us to really play with these different dynamics.
Yeah.
But isn't this a thing, especially with sort of like local wrestling as well, right? Where a lot of times it's not a matter of trying to keep the canon, but just to be able to put on a match because you don't have enough people to settle the whole heel face dynamic.
Exactly. So I think we're quite fortunate now to have a roster that honestly is bigger than we expected at this point in time. We have something like 25 to 30 people who can all wrestle tomorrow if they wanted to.
Nice. Like a rolling roster.
So you could literally have like 15 heel, 15 face, and have different combos. Switch there.
And I think different levels of experience, right? But I think again, one thing that is unique about us is we're so focused on let's put them out there.
Right.
And let's create an audience who is willing to accept that they may not be putting on like a 5-star Meltzer match, 6-star match, right?
I think when Mr. Young foreign rating
Sure. I also think so. Right? No, but good enough to put on very competent regular matches. And we want the audience to recognize that there's a lot of effort going into that.
Yeah.
And then once you create a culture, again, right? People are more keen to join because I'm not scared anymore.
Correct.
Right? People will understand why I do this and why I'm performing this like performance. Right? So I think it's very cool to have come to this point now.
Yeah.
We honestly have almost too many guys for the shows. Guys and girls on the shows.
Nice.
So I can always have more girls. Very hard, right? But in terms of overall roster number, very hard to put everybody on the card right now.
Of course.
Okay, so next one, I guess.
Joseph Sean?
Yes. Okay, so this is the opposite example of what I talked about, long-term storytelling.
Right.
Okay.
So we also have some room for us to say, okay, organically, where are we going?
Yeah.
Right? Because we can't possibly sculpt every single person's timeline for the next 2 years, right? So sometimes we let them run, right? And this is a case where we didn't quite realize at the start, but we were always booking Josephs with Showtime in some kind of configuration.
Correct.
So I want to say it's by design, but it's kind of half and half. Also because they have really great chemistry in the ring, not just him and Sean, but him and the whole faction.
Right.
So at some point, Showtime Inc. began to run with this idea of, this Joseph is a loser, F this guy, stuff like that. And it was really quite entertaining, right? And Joseph was very keen to roll with it, right?
Yeah,
he was very aware of that. So I think what we liked about this was it's super organic, right? And it's something which you don't have to over planned for.
Correct.
Right? It's something which we have already been seeing built naturally.
Yeah.
The fans who have been watching for the last 3-4 months have been seeing it go naturally.
Yes.
So let's do a big I don't want to say blow off because that seems to imply it's the end, right? But let's do a big payoff here to sell this feud.
I see.
Right? Where it goes from here, again, honestly, I can tell you now, I have no idea.
Okay.
Right? But let's see how the crowd responds to it. Let's see where we run with this. But it's very fun for us to keep booking these.
Right.
So I think Sean is, again, he's a veteran of the local wrestling scene.
Yeah.
Sean P is. I think he brings a great level of ring awareness and performance to what he does. Joseph came to us through the singlet poetry.
Oh
So he's
wow.
one of the
Okay.
poets.
Okay.
He's a poet who became a pro wrestler. How crazy is that, right? So he is slowly finding his angle as well. He's recently gotten his own trademark taunt, which you guys will hopefully see on the rolling highlights.
Okay.
The crowd loves it. So I think he is bringing a very unique angle. He's a bit older than some of the average guys, so he's a bit of a different sort of take to how he wrestles. But again, solid fundamentals and a super different clash of styles between two guys who hate each other for some reason.
I mean, look at LA Knight, right?
Right,
I mean, it doesn't really matter the age, right?
Yeah. He's not old. I'm still much older than him. But in terms of where he sits, in terms of the
I see.
overall,
Sure. Like, I always enjoy it when it's a Sean match because he's such a good bad guy.
Yeah.
He's such a good douchey sort of.
Didn't he do like a hardcore, like type of contest? They did the settle outside?
So it was like a hardcore match, right? And then they went all over the place. And just like his mannerisms, and it just comes off very natural.
Yeah. So he loves it. I challenge you to go and find any official photo of him smiling.
Keeps to his character,
Go find it. See what you can find.
Okay, let's talk about Ban. Is it Ban or Ban?
Ban.
Right?
Ban Sachak is
Ban Sachak.
his ring name now.
Right, versus Remus. Wildfire Remus.
This is cool, right? So Ban, another rising star for us. Ban is a super good babyface, I think.
Yes.
I recall that he's Cambodian.
He's Cambodian.
First ever Cambodian
A lot of
wrestler in
babyface
Singapore.
fire.
Yeah,
When
I
I
think
see him.
he gets it, right? So he sort of asks us to include his surname, Sachak, as a tribute to his Cambodian
I
heritage.
think it helps him stand out, actually.
Yeah. So again, this is one more going back to our previous point, right? This is why we felt that we couldn't limit the gimmicks to grade 3 because we're wasting all this potential.
Yeah.
Let's just do it now, right? Then grade 3 by then
Let
you are
them
fully
grow.
formed, but let's try it now.
Yeah.
Give you a chance to try it here. So Ban, again, I think babyface fire. Relatively new face, but had a lot of tag matches in the past. House Party had a really fiery match against Jordan, who he lost to.
Yes, I remember.
But great showing against Jordan. Really got the fans behind him. I don't know if this is like storyline breaking or whatever, but I think personally I see him as someone who sort of fills that space that like my character used to be.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you all recall, like in the early days, like the Greg Glorious guy was very much, he took a lot of heat, took a lot of beatdowns, but sort of came back fighting.
Yes, I remember.
And
Yeah.
it's difficult to find that role because usually the face we have is either too big size or almost too good.
Okay.
But you want someone who's sort of like someone relatable, someone who can take a lot of beatdowns and fight back, beat down, fight back. And we've been looking for a very long time.
Like an underdog sort of a...
Kind of, right? And it's hard to find. So, like honestly, from a booker perspective, I'm hoping he eventually fills that spot of someone who can take that heat,
Yeah.
get the crowd, firing behind.
It's
him.
like the Shawn Michaels comeback run.
Yeah.
It's like you can literally like be so invested in him having a comeback, right?
Yeah, right. And who better to bring out that fire than Wildfire Remus?
Nice.
So yes, and again, Remus is his character is going on another run with Inglorious, right? So Inglorious is still a bit up there, but we'll update you guys as we go along.
Sure.
Remus is very much, he has a lot of chips on his shoulder by this point in time, right? Lost at Settle Outside, 2 Ben in a tag team match, so there is history there as well, right? So it's very much about, again, Remus proving a point that he still has it. Again, don't forget he has been in tons of title matches. He's wrestled Dave for the title. He's wrestled Dave for the for multiple titles, right? He's always been kind of like almost there, right? And so I think right now it's very much a process of building up that reputation again. It's a strong victory against Ban enough to take the fans behind him to the next level.
I see.
And of course, the question is, will a certain Wilson hotshot or a certain Endboss be around the area when this match goes down?
No idea.
Teammates.
We shall see. We shall see.
Stablemates.
Yeah, I mean, like I said to you guys, I think just on the related note, I think the Inglorious angle is difficult for us because we're so busy. Again, this is wearing non-kayfabe hat, I guess.
Yeah.
But we're so busy running the business for the last few months that it's so hard for us to think, oh, what should we do as characters? Like, so hard.
Correct.
But the goal for us was let's get this place running, and then let's think about how do we
Get back.
So I guess again in summary, wait and see lah. Right? We have some stuff on the way. Hopefully we haven't kept fans waiting too long for the next Inglorious part. Yeah, so that's Ban against Ban Sacha against Bonfire Ravens.
Let's talk about the main event then. For the openweight title, the GrappleMAX openweight title. Big Dave versus YC with Sean.
Oh man.
Dude, remember when this match came, we were reviewing it?
Yeah,
And then it was like,
YC?
wait, YC out of nowhere?
Yeah. Okay, so talk to us about that. First of all, why YC?
Yeah, I was going to
Aussie.
address that because I know you guys said that about YC, right? And I think it's a few things, right? Number one, again, from a promotion perspective, from a booking perspective, right? We trust these guys. Go out there and run the main event.
Yep.
Right? Go out there, right? Even if you end up sucking, which they won't, right? You've run the main event. You have the experience. That's the first part. Okay, that's the booking side, right? And again, YC is one of those who has been day in, day out training. He and Sean, right? Both Aussie guys have been training probably one of the highest in terms of their workshop attendance. They train like crazy.
Consistent, yeah.
They both just came back from Australia for their tour.
Nice.
They trained with Damien Slater, I think he's a CWC alumnus. They trained with David Storm, another super established Australian wrestler, right? And they came back with again new techniques, new understanding of how to perform, right? And if you don't reward work ethic, what do you reward? Right? So that's the main goal, right? It is let's push it out there. We recognize that some fans may not understand why this guy out of the blue, right? But that's the whole idea, right? We run an open challenge. This guy comes out, right? And he has had the recent match history of winning and getting good results, right? House party, right? Tag team Aussie versus the super team, the dream team, Christian champion, Dave champion, right? Aussie won, right? YC beat Dave, clean, right? So the question here is, why can't he do it again, right?
I find it very interesting because, of course, we know him primarily as a tag team, right? And it's him challenging as opposed to like him, and I mean, Sean, I guess, is backing him is his second, right? But what is it about YC's character? Training aside, dedication aside, but what is it about YC's character that you think will actually give, Dave like a run for his money in this title match?
Sounds cheesy to say, right? But it's crowd support. Right, but it plays such a huge factor.
Yes.
Right. On any other day, right, Big Dave should be winning this. Right. In terms of experience, in terms of power, in terms of move capabilities, Dave's got this. Right. YC's got the crowd. Right. He's got Sean. He's got his newly found experience.
He's got the beautiful hair.
He's got the beautiful hair. Which I'm envious of. But he has a beautiful hair.
The most important factor of all the hair.
So he has that, right? He has the work ethic, right? And again, I'm not sure people know, but Dave was also his debut match. We love doing this, right? So Dave was his debut match.
Full circle moment.
So he knows it, right? So again, and he trains so much with Dave, right? They know each other. Right? So there is an interesting storyline to take, right? If YC takes this. Right, Dave's been champ he was our first champ, right? Champ since Ghost Town, right? Champ for almost the entire year, right? When's he gonna drop it, right? It's now the interesting time, new place, new location,
new champ,
who knows, right? So I think this is where it's very fun for us, right?
Yeah.
People can question, right? But there is a logic behind why we're doing this,
right?
And if we don't push these new guys, as always, right? Where do you go, right?
Yeah.
Same guys in the main event every single time, right? You're not bored, I also bored, right? That's how it is, right? You got to create new spaces, move the guys up, so new guys can move in.
Yeah, I almost feel like people asking and questioning, that actually creates intrigue.
Correct.
Like, why this guy, right? And then you're curious to see the match, right?
Also, the potential of the tag team partner becoming jealous is always there as well.
That's true.
So
you never know.
Never thought of that.
Okay.
Have we said too much? Okay, let's talk about how this.
Felt chills.
Wait. Quick question. I think you brought up one
ominous music.
You brought up one great point, and I think before kind of wrap out, right? You talk about like opening up a slot in the main event scene. And that main event scene slot was opened up because of what happened in the last show set outside with the so-called retirement
yes.
of DJ Carl. Love the guy, and I want to know like your thoughts on that, the entire thing that went down, and as well as like pay a bit of tribute to DJ Carl, because I think
Yeah, and I remember like he didn't want to do the speech, so you did the speech, right? And you got super emotional, super emotional.
Are you gonna start crying now?
Yeah, don't start.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to repeat what we said at the show. That was only for people in attendance.
Yes.
But, those who've been following our story, right, since 2016, they know, right? DJ Carl's been around from almost the start. And, I think when we needed a lot of help, especially during the COVID period, pre-COVID period, right? He was one of those who was helping us in terms of, okay, we need more coaches, we need more trainers.
Yeah.
I'm going to step up and fill that space for you guys, right? Every locker room needs a couple of leaders. I wouldn't say one, but a couple of leaders to keep everyone motivated, right? It can't always be us, right? If it's always the core team, it's a bit like, okay, but of course what about the boys, right? The girls, right? And he was always keen, and he was the one to help to fill that slot, right? And I think that is, directly influenced the culture we have today, right? Where again, it is not top down, right? It is, we want to find all these leaders in the group who are willing to take that ball and run, get the rest of the team to follow.
Yeah.
And I think this is why I was so emotional, because it was legitimately a big part of what we built, right? And I understood exactly why he wanted to step away, but the fact remained that there would be a gap. So I think that's the tribute to DJ Carl. Right?
I think it was like, I mean, we talked about this as well, For and I, because when we were reaching out before Settle Outside to do an interview with one of your guys, right? We initially wanted to talk to DJ Cal. And then he was sort of like, no, sorry, our guys are busy, maybe you should talk to another guy. And then when we found out, that was the reason, because he wanted to give the opportunity to somebody else. Let somebody else, shine, have the opportunity of doing the podcast, doing an interview. Stuff like that.
Shows you the kind of person he is. And it's so very interesting because when I talk to other people about DJ Carl, they always talk about him. He's like like you said, right, the locker room leader in the community, in GrappleMAX, right? And also one of the things that they talk about was he was very inspiring in the way he took his wrestling seriously. There was a period where he got in super great shape, and I think they were inspired by that as well. The influence, right? Like, how do you feel like it was a lot of him bringing it to GrappleMAX, and it was a lot of GrappleMAX giving it to him from his time there? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's both ways, right? It's we couldn't. You can't impose a culture, right? You need people to believe in it, and then want to actively play a part in paying it forward, and playing it back, right? And this is where I think he really took that ball, right? We did say that we need some leaders around here, and I think he was like, okay, I can see how I'm in a position where I can do it, right? My water choked me up. Not DJ Carl.
Not DJ
my water choked me up.
Okay, DJ Carl really, brought the emotion out.
Brought the choking in.
Well, my voice is going in some weird direction right now.
It's okay. We've been chatting for like an hour plus. So
so I think just to wrap up this question here, so I think influence-wise, it goes both ways, right? And I think the cool thing now is that the rest of the team, you see, that's so fast to fill that space. I don't want to say gap, but that space, right? And now so many other guys who are stepping up, right? And this is again reflected across the board, right? Whether it is on the card, backstage, producing things here, right? And again, everyone here is beginning to see that they have a very clear role to play, right? And including the new leaders, or even those who were leading before, but maybe not as obvious as say what Carl was.
Right.
But there are many other guys from the start who've been helping to lead, right? So I think it's not just tribute to him. He's probably the most prominent one, right? But so many guys are beginning to see that leadership really blossom now with the new community that we're building.
Yeah. That's a great tribute, I would say, to DJ Cal.
Exciting times, man.
Yes, it is exciting times.
Especially with the new plays, new outlook, all that kind of stuff.
We got to ask this one question, because I think every time we meet and have an interview, right, we always ask, where do you see GrappleMAX in X years' time? We've asked it every single time. I think this is our third or fourth interview already. So I remember in 2018, 2019, I think your goal at that point in time was to kind of like expand the community beyond just the core group. So that was when you kind of took the show on the road, right? Just came back from Shinkiba, doing a lot of like collabs, Singlit came up and all that kind of stuff. And then when we met right before the pandemic, I think we were discussing about like how life has been through the pandemic and how you pivoted and you did classes. I remember I signed up for like a couple of classes as well. So that was how you were trying to survive through the pandemic. And then we talked about Dick Togo. So that was a year later.
Yeah.
And then now with this, right?
Yeah.
Every time we ask this question, something came out that we never came out before. Like there was like an add-on to your previous answer, right?
Yeah.
So can we ask this question? I think it's a great way to wrap up. What do you see for GrappleMAX in the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and also long term?
Yeah. It's always nice to manifest these things, right? Because so far, whatever I've said on our podcast seems to have come true in some way or another.
Nice.
I think the big picture goal has never changed, which is we want to bring more money into the industry, right? We want to start paying people back, right? This whole industry, especially in Singapore and also the region, is driven so much by passionate, right? But what we felt was we're lacking the logistics, we're lacking the structure to find ways to help people bring money into this and start paying back, right? In a way, we're almost like the music scene, like maybe 10, 15 years ago, right? Or maybe even more recently, maybe your pole dance scene, your aerial scene. And we're so early in the process, right? And we have the interest, we have the people who want to be involved, but not that medium to generate the money. So long-term goal is that, right? We want to make it maybe not like full-time job level for everybody yet, but at least have a process where, okay, I can see if we grow to this amount, we can begin to pay you back for your time, right? Again, everyone involved, not just the performers, right? Everybody, right? We don't want to pay out based on what ticket sales, share, whatever. Forget it, right? Let's pay based on your time you're putting in to train, right? You are, not an employee, but you are putting in time to work out, to do all these things. You are endorsing us, right? How do we pay you back fairly for all these things across the board, right? So that's the big picture goal. I think short-term goal, or I guess mid-term goal for us, how do I not spoil things? Always so hard, you know. Well, okay, so I guess the
General.
One thing I want to say is that there's a reason why you guys are in a studio, but we call the company Pro Wrestling Studios. So is that fair enough? Content, but also we are, I guess it's not spoiler, we're hoping to create many more of these places.
Oh, okay.
And not just here, right? But elsewhere as well, right? Everywhere where there is a burgeoning wrestling scene. Right? If we have the model to move it forward, can we help other people move it forward?
Do you mean regionally or within Singapore?
Regionally.
Okay.
Right?
Franchise.
There's no reason why, if we can prove that this generates money down the line, right? Why can't we help other promotions, right? I can't say I've been contacted by other promotions. They're asking me for advice. How do you run your business? Or how do you apply like business learnings to running GrappleMAX to where it is today? So we do know, right? And I'm not bragging, I hope, right? But people do look to us to say, what is GrappleMAX going to do next? Right? Like, what is there? Seeing us almost like thought leaders in this industry, right? What are we going to do to push this forward? And we can't grow this ourselves, right? This is to all the promotions out there. We can't grow it ourselves, right? We didn't build this place for GrappleMAX. We built this to really help show this is one way to move it forward. But we want to work with promotions across the region, not just by bringing down like 1 or 2 wrestlers, right? How do we work with the whole brand? How do we let more people here know about, let's say, Malaysia Pro Wrestling, right? Top dojo in Bangkok, right? How do we spread the word in Singapore and the region that there are fantastic promotions around doing all this work, right? But limited outreach, right? And we want to find that opening for us.
That was a lot of detail for a vague answer, but you know what? We appreciate it.
Thank him for the prompt.
Yeah,
Get this out of me.
Squeezing it out.
All redacted. Everything I say redacted.
No. I mean it's great. I think it's great that you share, because I think first of all, I do see interest, not just in Singapore, in the region. I think, I don't know whether you saw that like a couple of months ago, people from Vietnam Pro Wrestling team reached out to us on DM and promote their stuff. And it's crazy, right? Because technically everything's on the internet, so people can see whatever you're doing, right? Do you feel like, in a way, you are kind of like the one that is like leading the path? It's so philosophical of me to ask this.
You can never ask me such questions because I don't know how to answer you. I definitely would say that we're working very hard to take very different paths from what I think the template indie wrestling promotion in the region is supposed to be taking. If you tell me to adopt the same model that other players are doing in Singapore or elsewhere, I'll tell you I'd rather quit. But it's just so freaking boring. Right? Well, we're doing this because we love it. And we love to keep challenging ourselves across whatever we're doing. Right? And I think what you're seeing today is a summation of all that drive. Right? How can we take wrestling and just fuck it up? Make it more interesting. Right? Because you can do the same thing, but it's just so boring. Right? And I didn't quit my full-time job to do boring.
Correct.
That's the main goal here, right? Obviously, long-term is hopefully it makes money, right?
Always.
Very bravado and stuff, all that kind of shit, right? But the goal remains that we are super open to try super different things, right? Create spaces, invite more people, try new projects. And I guess if you see it in those lines, then I guess people do look to us in terms of leading the way, but only insofar as we're moving so far off the path.
Right.
But once you do that, you make people question, actually, is this the only way to grow a wrestling company? Or are they doing something that maybe works?
Right.
Sure.
And we don't know, right? So this whole path is crazy because we can't tell you that we will guaranteed succeed. I have no freaking idea.
Yeah, for sure.
But we are the ones taking the risk to say, let's just try this. Let's eat like Singapore, commercial rental for 3 years. Right? Which is insane. Right? But let's try it. Right? Try it, but not anyhow try. Try with a very clear business plan with the team, which we didn't have before. So with the team, with the space, with the hopefully a solid business plan, with the support from the fans, right? Again, thanks to everyone out there. It's crazy we've gotten this far. We shouldn't be around if not for you guys. So the team super appreciates the effort of all the fans, you guys, other creators. Like it's really, I think we couldn't get this far. If not for everyone pushing this forward. And we want to be able to help to unify all these things and move Singapore wrestling forward, move regional wrestling forward. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
There's nothing we can add to that. So this is the perfect point to just say thank you so much, Greg, for having us here today on a Sunday, opening your doors for us.
I want to leave with this last thought, right? When me and Yang started doing this podcast, right? Talking about what can we talk about every week? I mean, every week will get boring. There's nothing much to talk about. Wow, it's crazy that 6 years in, right? There's so many things to talk about. Not just
things to talk about.
Not just things overseas, but now we have things in Singapore. We can talk about. We can get genuinely excited about. So I think it's pretty dope.
Do you feel like now, especially now in 2023, right? This is the time to do it. With the industry wide open, opportunities wide open, and technology. I think technology plays a part into it as well. I was talking to a lot of people where now the barrier to entry in terms of content creation is so much lower than before. Like just 5 years ago, just 10 years ago, to do a podcast, to do a video, live stream, you would need 10,000 pieces of equipment. Now with one phone you can do everything.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say if this is the time to do it, but there's no better time.
Right.
There's no better time.
There's no better time right now.
And I think back to the very first thing we discussed, right? I think everything we have worked for has contributed to this particular point.
Yes.
Right? All the experience we have, the community we built, right? Everything has given us a view on how this vision could play out. Right? And if not now, then you wait till when? Right. There's no other time.
That's true.
There's no other time.
That's true.
Yeah.
Inspirational words from an inspirational man. Greg, thank you so much for having us here today.
Thanks for hosting as always. Always fun.
Absolutely.
See you guys.
Hang on. What's going on?
Swag for you guys.
Is this a new shirt? New shirt. It says Pro Wrestling Studios. The old one had Collective. Now it's
Collective,
Studios.
then Pro Wrestling, now we're Studios.
Nice.
The new one, so it's
Pro Wrestling Team.
where's your part of our team? So there you go.
Nice.
So you guys are both.
Is this a level 0 shirt?
It's the only show we have for now.
Dope.
There you go, Young. One for you.
Thank you.
Mr. Young and FRGN is
We're in the building.
We got you
in the building.
Nice.
Let's take one.
We all know that this is a video, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to post
No, I was
a
doing
video.
the Triple H thing.
Maybe we should snapshot this and then we found it again.
No, it's okay.
We'll take a promo photo.
Because guess what? We have a photo area there, proper studio, everything. Okay, guys, once again, thank you so much for watching the video. As always, it's Mr. Young
And it's FRGN in the building.
live from the GrappleMAX Pro Wrestling Studios.
Oklahoma. Let me see you drop.